Hello everyone, welcome back to Survivor Talks with Mike. Today we'll be covering the Survivor Marquesas Contenders. The Contenders is a series where I take a look at episode 1 of a season of Survivor to see who is being built up as a potential winner from the very beginning. Several different techniques are used to do this through editing and the confessionals given. We'll also look at the eventual winner and how they were portrayed in the first episode. Survivor Marquesas gave its cast a lot more balance in its first episode, meaning each contestant gets at least one confessional and some time on screen. With that said, there are still those who are shown as more important and play a greater role in the episode's narrative. I'll start with the Rotu tribe, as they didn't get as much screen time being the winners of the immunity challenge. Most of their story in episode 1 revolves around two players. First, Kathy taking control of the camp, and secondly, John's response to that. Throughout the episode, we're shown that Kathy really wants them to make fire, even when they aren't in a position to easily obtain it. This rubs a lot of the contestants the wrong way. Gabriel tells us Kathy seemed to hop right into the role of skipper, but they don't need a skipper. A couple of other castaways make short comments about her bossiness and not wanting to work on making the fire yet. The biggest reaction came from John, who tells us that he blew a fuse. He feels bad about doing this and decides he will work extra hard to get the fire made for Kathy's sake. He does indeed get the fire started, and once the water is boiled, he gives the first drink to Kathy. So what does that mean for each of them? Kathy is already in a bad spot in her tribe and will have an uphill battle going forward, but maybe she'll have an in with John. As for John, his blow-up could have been seen as negative, but since everyone else seemed fed up with Kathy, it probably actually endeared him to them, and he was still able to mend his relationship with Kathy by the end of the episode. This shows John understands the importance of maintaining bonds and not creating any enemies. Onto the Mara'amu tribe, who went to tribal council and therefore got a lot more screen time. Firstly, obviously Peter gets quite a bit of development as the player being voted out, but he can't be considered as a contender due to that. Hunter is seen as the leader of the tribe, which has its positives and negatives. Patricia seems okay with him taking charge, and Gina tells us she loves Hunter for knowing so much and being a strong survivalist, which is different from being a strong survivor player. On the other hand, both Rob and Sean are making fun of him quite a bit and seem to already be awaiting the opportunity to dethrone him of the leadership role. Gina gets quite a bit of screen time, though most of it is either talking about Hunter or about surviving out there. She does get a couple of strategic confessionals, however, where she explains why she might be voting out Peter and also being wary of Rob and Sarah's flirting. Rob is given a lot of screen time, introducing his sarcastic personality. I believe we were meant to side with him in the end, but we do see that he has an approach which may rub some people the wrong way, as he doesn't seem entirely keen on doing what Hunter says. His relationship with Sarah is also given some attention when they're flirting through the night instead of being with the rest of the tribe. This could easily put a target on his back. Lastly, Sean is given a lot of screen time, and he seems to be our narrator for the episode. Like Rob, he does not want to follow Hunter's orders, but unlike Rob, we don't see Hunter being confrontational towards Sean at all. We also see his ability to create bonds, as he and Peter seem to hit it off. The one negative I would give Sean is that his new ally Peter is voted out, but I think Sean had the right idea to vote out Sarah, as Peter seemed more useful and Sarah was clearly just going to go along with Rob. Last season, the winner was visible, but only obvious if you knew what signs to look for. So how does the eventual winner look this season? Vecepia gets a couple of confessionals, one about being unable to start the fire, so that isn't too meaningful to us, and one about Sarah having a nice body that she can flaunt, but if she uses it on the right guys, it might help her advance in the game. This shows that Vecepia isn't going to feel threatened, and is also thinking strategically. She also goes on to vote for Sarah, so it might have been laying some groundwork for why she would vote for her in the end. And we haven't really seen her relationship with Sean develop yet, so I can't say that that was why she voted for Sarah either. It's not a lot to go off of in terms of her winner chances at this point, but she seems like a strong player at least. I think having a more balanced episode 1 helps obscure the winner, but with that said, I still think they could have done a little bit more for propping up Vecepia. If I had to guess a winner from episode 1 alone, I would likely say John or Sean, leaning slightly more on the John side. That's all for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, hit like. If you want to see more, hit subscribe.